everyone, I am Sonlal. Today we are discussing about new technology gasoline direct injection. Before starting this technology, I give you basic idea about SI engine and CI engine. In SI engine, compressor ratio is low, but CI engine compressor ratio is high. I tell you why we take compressor ratio is high in CI engine and low in SI engine. And in CI engine, only air is drawn during the suction stroke, but SI engine, air plus fuel is drawn during the suction stroke. If compressor ratio is high, more heat will be generated, which is directly related to pressure and temperature. In the CI engine, only air is compressed. There is no problem of pre-ignition. In the SI engine, air plus fuel mixture is compressed. That maybe cases pre-ignition may take place, which is a problem of knocking. To prevent this problem, we now using new technology gasoline direct injection. Thank you.
Again, and I am here to explain you about the Gdi technology. So, in order to understand the Gdi technology, first we have to know why we are using the Gdi technology. It's used to increase the compression ratio in an SI engine. So we know that in SI engine the compression ratio is low. So it's very important for us to have more compression ratio to increase the volumetric efficiency. So let's take a look at the diagram in Gdi technology. So we have a fuel inlet which is at very high pressure. So the problem with SI engines is that when we suck in the fuel air mixture, we cannot compress into very high temperatures. Like we cannot compress into very high pressures. It might ignite at high temperatures. So in order to take a leap from that, we introduce this fuel inlet with high pressures. So when the fuel is injected through this nozzle, very small droplets are actually pumped out from that nozzle. So we know that when a bigger droplet moves into a smaller droplet, the surface area of it increases and it needs more energy in that state. So what it does is that it absorbs energy from the surroundings, hence it cools down the surroundings. So the same technology is used here. When this fuel is pumped into this cylinder, it kind of reduces the temperature around it. So now we can compress it into a higher pressure and it will not cross the temperature limit in which it ignites. So this is the main principle behind the Gdi technology, and it can increase the volumetric efficiency because you can compress it to very high pressure, or when the temperature is low, the density of the air inside will be low, so the volume occupied by the air will be low, so it will allow more intake air, it will allow more intake of air. So that's how the volumetric efficiency is high and the compression ratio will be also high. So there are like many more technologies used in this area to improve upon these factors. It can achieve about like 12 to 15 compression ratio, whereas in SI engine it is about 6 to 10 and CA it is 16 to 20. So lowering the droplet size. Now we know that if you lower it further, if you make it further smaller, so what happens is that it has more surface area now and it absorbs more energy from the surroundings and more the temperature is lowered. So this nozzle is made at high pressure and the tip of the nozzle is made small and the droplet size is made small. So the same effect can be amplified in that case. So the temperature drop, everything is like amplified in that case. Or another technology used is that cavity in this piston. So like we always kind of decide lean combustion, ultra lean combustion in like where you don't want to accelerate, you want to save up on the fuel. So what you do is that in terms of ultra lean combustion, what happens is that when the fuel is inside the cylinder, it can be like at any place, or when the spark plug is ignited, the burning can take place like from here to here, and it can be uneven, or it can occur in many different places. So it will not give a sufficient good combustion, it will not be giving that. So what we do is that we will be creating a piston cavity over here. So the droplets which is pumped from the nozzle is directed into this cavity, and when it goes up, it reaches over here and the spark plug is ignited, and at this spot the combustion takes place and kind of expands in every area, and hence good combustion can be achieved. So by this method, air fuel ratio can be increased to 40:1. So that's the new technology that is applied in this case. And the other one is the valve timings. So most of the Gdi technology comes with like 2 inlet valves. I think Honda is like doing this kind of technology, 2 inlet valves in Gdi technology. So what they do is that at high speed acceleration, there are 2 types of acceleration: high speed acceleration and low speed acceleration. So in high speed acceleration, they only have one inlet valve, the other inlet valve is closed. So what happens is that a more swirl motion is created when the fuel is injected into the cylinder. A more swirl motion can be created. Like if you imagine a bucket over here, okay, and you use a pipe and you pour the water in, so it kind of starts to rotate. But if you pour the water in with 2 pipes, the rotating motion is absent there. So that's the same case with the 2 inlet valves. So we use 1 inlet valve, and more rotation can be achieved, more mixing of fuel can be achieved. So when your acceleration phase is on at high speed, this kind of allows you to mix it very quickly and efficient combustion can be achieved. That is a case of high speeds. But in lower speeds acceleration, the case is different. What you need is more air. So in order to get more air, you need to open 2 inlet valves. So there is one more advantage of opening 2 inlet valves. The advantage is that it reduces the pumping losses. Pumping loss is the loss which occurs when the piston is lowered and some pressure difference is created between the outer or inner. So if the inlet valve is small, it's kind of difficult to lower the piston. You can imagine it by your own way. But if you open the 2 inlet valves, it's kind of very easy. So at low speeds, you need to minimize these losses and taking most of the air which is possible. So that's how 2 inlet valves and 1 inlet valve is used. So using these kind of technologies, the air fuel mixture ratio is up to 65:1. So that's a very good amount. So that kind of sums up the Gdi technology. I hope you guys have a good idea about the technology. Thank you.